Alright, so in this video, we're going to be talking about layering your clothes in the winter months. A lot of people say that you have to have layers, your base layer, your next layer, and how wool is moisture wicking and it holds most of its value when it's wet. But today I'm going to show you a way of layering and overlapping your layers so that you can stay warm even in the coldest of environments. You know, a lot of people say, it's not real cold out, but that wind just cuts right through you. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to prevent that wind and moisture from getting to your skin and freezing you cold. So stay tuned. Alright, so when it comes to dressing for the winter months, especially when it gets like really cold, when you're in the -20s, -40s, it's important on how you layer your clothes. And a lot of people tell you to layer your clothes. That way you can remove or add whatever you need to keep yourself warm and dry. But you hear a lot of people say, you know, it's not that cold out, but that wind is just cutting right through you. And so it's important to focus on your openings. So like your neck, your wrists, your waist, and your ankles. Those openings are where the breeze or the draft usually get in, or the moisture from collecting firewood or sticks or whatever. That moisture seeps in through your creases. And so it's important to overlap your layers. So like for my head, I have my beanie on. It's just a wool stocking cap, and then I have my balaclava on. But I also have a shemagh on underneath my jacket. And so the breeze is gonna have a hard time getting in because of my shemagh. But if it does come in, it's gonna have to come all the way through, and then it's still gonna hit my sweatshirt. It's gonna have to change directions to get up to my neck, and that's what you want. You want that breeze to have to change directions before it reaches you. And so another thing is I have my balaclava so I can cover my face, and I have my shemagh, and so I can layer up on my face. And so everything but my eyes has layers, and it's those breezes can't get in or in between those layers very easily. So even if it does come in through my shemagh, it's still getting through into my shemagh and my balaclava and then my shirt. And so it has to change directions no matter where it's coming from. And so I'm going to take this off. And so I have my balaclava on, so even if it does hit my balaclava, it's still hitting my sweatshirt. It has to change directions to get to my skin, and that's key. And so again, your wrists. Now my wrists I keep extremely warm because I feel the warmer your wrists are, the warmer your hands and the warmer the rest of your body is. And so here I have my fingerless gloves, which I forgot while I was making my Vengeful 1 review. And so I cut a hole in my glove here where I grip that knife. That's why you see so many people using these. It gives you a lot more dexterity and grip, but it also doesn't cut holes in your gloves when you're working with knives. But I'll switch between these gloves or those gloves, but I layer them the same. So if moisture gets on my glove and it comes through my wrist, my top glove is on top of my sweatshirt. Okay, so I have a wool sweater on, so it will hit the sweater. Then it has to change directions again, and then I'm gonna get onto my wristy. So I have a wristy that I keep on my wrist, and it helps keep the wrist warm. Even without gloves, I can take my gloves off and have open hands, but my wrists are still warm. And then underneath that, it'll have to change directions. And then I have my base layer. And so now it's gotta come up my sweatshirt, down my wristy, and then it's gonna hit my base layer, and it's gotta get all the way to my hand before I feel anything. And so all these layers are overlapped, which allow me to not feel that breeze and that moisture. Again, even the snow and the moisture has to change directions before it can get to my skin. So if I'm wearing my other gloves, I put those over my sweatshirt as well. And now I'm even more protected from the elements. And that breeze and everything isn't gonna get to my flesh. So now moving on to your waist. Again, same thing. You want your jacket to come up, and then I have my sweatshirt, and then under my sweatshirt I have my base layer, and then my base layer is tucked over my long johns but under my pants. And so even if the breeze goes down my waist, it has to change directions because it's going to hit my long johns. It's going to hit long johns, and then it's going to have to reverse back up to get to my skin or my flesh. And so it's hard for me to get cold in my wrists and my waist. And then moving on to my boots here. Again, I have my boots, and then I have my pants tucked into my boots. And so I'm going to get on the tarp here. So I have my boot, and then it has to travel onto my pants. It's got to come up my pants and my socks here, and then my sock is under my long john, or over my long johns. So it has to change directions again to flow to my flesh. And so it's how you overlap those layers that really keeps you warm, especially at night. At night when you're sleeping, being able to overlap those layers keeps you warm as well. And it's that system of knowing where your openings are and how to overlap them in a way that keeps you nice and warm and dry, even when you're active, even when you're playing in the snow, even when you're collecting firewood, even when you're moving from place to place. You have the ability to stay dry, you have the ability to keep that wind from cutting right through you. But I know a lot of you like to go cold weather camping, so I want to know, how do you layer your clothing? How do you stay the warmest when the temperatures are the coldest? Make sure to leave your knowledge and your questions in that comment section. And make sure to like and share this video to help spread that knowledge and those ideas to the people we care about most. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and come join the pack. I have a new video every Sunday and Thursday, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.